What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we have some Detroit Lions and some Minnesota Vikings news before Sunday's game. So let's get it started.
The city's been down and it found a way to get up. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. We're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
Welcome, everybody, to our video. Glad you guys are here. And we got a lot of reports that came out today from the Lions and from the Vikings side. They had the deadline where you can elevate players from the practice squad. The Lions are placing guys on IR. There was a lot going on today. So I thought, yeah, you know what? Let's do this video before the Michigan football game tonight, which we will be reacting to live. Before we get to that, we might as well just do a video on this. I mean, I was going to wait until tomorrow, but we got the news, so we might as well just talk about it. So there's a lot going on with illness. There's a lot to discuss. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do the video today. Why not? Let's do a quick little update. We'll get into the Michigan game then, of course, tomorrow. So we'll probably talk about this again tomorrow morning, but I thought we might as well just discuss it now because it's here. So why not? All right, let's start with the Lions first. And the first thing I want to say is that the Lions will be wearing their Color Rush gray uniforms. Now, okay, look. I like the Lions uniforms. The all whites are probably my favorite at this point. When they rocked those in the Green Bay game, I was like, oh snap, those are fire. Those are different. But even though we got these nice uniforms, we still somehow look ugly on the field in some of these games. Just the way that we're playing, the ugly penalties, things like that. So hopefully it doesn't happen tomorrow, but I don't know. I mean, I like the jerseys, but it'd be nice to get a win in one of these. Maybe Color Rush brings us some luck. Maybe that's what it is. I hope so. I do like the all grays, but really, I like any jersey you're getting a win in. So I just wanted to point that out first. Now let's talk about some of these roster updates. Starting off with Trey Flowers, who has now been placed on IR this season. He has not been placed on IR already this season because otherwise I don't think he'd be able to come back, but he'll be out for at least 3 weeks. Now, I believe this would have been the 3rd straight game he would have missed. Could have been 4. I believe it's 3rd, though. All right, we already knew he was out for Sunday. He was already listed as out. He didn't practice. He hasn't practiced the last 3 weeks. So we already knew he was out, but now he's on IR. So that means at least 3 weeks for Trey Flowers, which is very tough blow. Very tough blow for the Lions. The only really good thing that comes out of this is we'll continue to see Austin Bryant. We'll continue to see Julian Okwara get a taste for, okay, who should be here down the road, because I don't think Trey Flowers is a future piece. Trey Flowers, he's been dealing with some injuries. I mean, he's missed a lot of time for us. We brought him in, big free agent signing, and it was a pretty solid season for 2019. Even though he's a solid player, we know that past his productivity was never insane. He only played in 7 games last year. You know, now he's out for 3 weeks, so he's going to miss a lot of time this season. He also hasn't been able to stay super healthy for us either. Can't control him, but it's just, I don't see him as part of the future. He's a good player. Like, there's no doubt he's a good player. Is he worth the money he's getting paid? No, as we said many times, but he is a good player, and he's helpful. Mike Zimmer brought him up right away because he's a guy that can win some one-on-ones. He helps you a ton in the run game. He was fantastic last time he faced Minnesota, but now he's out for at least 3 weeks. So the best thing that comes out of this is that we should get a look at some new guys and some of these young players, Austin Bryant, Julian Okwara, some guys being elevated, Jesse, who has played 2 snaps defensively for us. So that's the good thing, but it's just a very tough loss. I mean, we come in a season, you miss Romeo Okwara, who you gave all this money to. Trey Flowers, you're thinking, okay, they're playing in this new defensive system, and they're just not out there for us. We've seen Trey here and there this season, and he's done some good things, but he just hasn't been out there nearly enough. And of course, Romeo, he is out for the season. I don't know if we're going to see him again this season. I really don't. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. He hasn't been listed out for the year as of right now, but I can't guarantee we're going to see him again this season. Who knows? I mean, we're at 6 games less in the season. He's out for at least 3, so it'd be the last 3 weeks of the year. The Lions could, I mean, potentially bring him back if he's healthy for them. They could have him on the field. I just don't know. I know what you're thinking. Oh, the Lions are out of the playoff picture. Why even try to bring him back? Well, hey, we're not out of the playoff picture. Shout out to the community post. We is talking playoffs, sort of, kind of, a little bit. Okay, y'all saw the scenario. Like, a whole bunch of things got to go right. But you know what? You're still in, technically. My point is, I don't know if we're going to see Trey Flowers again this season. I forgot to bring these 2 notes up yesterday, but I'm just going to throw them in here. First off, Austin Cyborg, the Lions kicker, who we saw a little bit this season, 10 of 12. Dan Campbell said that we will not basically see him again for this season, so he's out for the season, which means we're going to be using this Riley Peterson / Aldrich Rosas. And it was weird last week. It was like, why in the world is Riley Peterson out there? Rosas last week, is he hurt? And Dave Phipp said, you know, they were just kind of going back and forth between the 2 kickers. So we really don't know who the starting kicker is this week. They said we'll just see how it looks in practice and they'll make their decision for this week. So I have no idea who the kicker is going to be tomorrow. Really, I don't. I don't know if that's the best decision, but they're just leaving it down to how well do you perform in practice. So I guess it continues to put the pressure on. Like you got to be ready to go every single day in practice or you won't play. With that being said, Dan Campbell also brought up Quintez Cephas and said that Cephas is basically not going to be back for the season. So those two guys are out. We kind of expected that with Quintez Cephas, but he did say that he feels good about both of these players for 2022. I wouldn't say the Cephas one is super surprising. I mean, the guy stepped up. He became our top guy, and he was really darn good until he got injured in the Minnesota Vikings game. It's weird how that played out when they asked him the question. But then the Austin Seibert one's a little bit interesting. So it sounds like the Lions may try to bring back Austin Seibert after this season, this offseason, because they like him, and they may go forward with Austin Seibert. So they may feel like they have found their future kicker. They feel good about it for next year. So that's just a little note that Dan Campbell threw in there that both these guys could be back for 2022. Let's continue down. Because of this, the Lions have signed linebacker Rashad Berry, who is off of their practice squad, to their active roster. Rashad Berry is a guy that we've only seen going back to the preseason. We signed him, I thought, maybe for tight end. That's what I was thinking, blocking tight end. He's athletic. But they brought him in and they played him at outside linebacker just like New England did back in 2020. But that's the last time he's seen the field in a regular season game. We could see him this weekend. I did check Jesse Lemanier. I say Lemanier because it sounds cool, and that's how it says to pronounce it online. I still don't know the correct pronunciation here, all right? So even if I'm messing up, that's why I'm just sticking with Jesse. You guys know who I'm talking about, all right? The guy from LA that we brought in the beginning of the season. He's only played 2 snaps defensively for us. That goes back in the Chicago game. But he's a guy you could see some snaps from. Who knows? Either way, Rashad Berry is now on the active roster for some depth, and we may see him a little bit in Sunday's game against the Minnesota Vikings. Another new piece we could possibly see this weekend is Devonte Beckett. This is interesting. When we initially put this guy, and we didn't bring him back on the 53-man roster, we let him go, and then we put him back on the practice squad to begin this season. We're making our final roster cuts. Dan Campbell says they like Devonte Beckett. He has a nose for the football. We really saw him flash in that final preseason game, but Beckett, just where he is right now, they want to just have a year where they can just get his body right, where he can learn this defense. They want to kind of use this year for that. Well, now we're heading into, week number 13 of the season, and because Jalen Reeves-Maybin is now out for this game, I don't know how serious it is. I know he didn't practice this week, but he's out for this game. And last week, he mixed in some Josh Wood, some CJ Moore. We had kind of pieces just bouncing in and out. Devonte Beckett may get some snaps this week. I won't guarantee that, but if the Lions are going to play with the same strategy that they did last time they faced Minnesota, which was a 3 linebacker, Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone, and Jalen were all in the field multiple times during that game. If the Lions come back out with that philosophy, they need another linebacker. Rashad Berry, 6'4", 255. He's kind of more of the outside linebacker, the outside linebacker in our base sets in the 3-4 defense, kind of an outside linebacker that way. Could help us on special teams. That's the spot that I would really look at for Beckett, because even if he's not getting snaps defensively, which is very possible, he could at least possibly help us on special teams, because again, he has that nose for the football. He's not really known for his coverage. He's known for making plays in the run game. So when I look at a guy like Beckett, I think special teams is probably why the Lions are doing this. Because that's what Jalen we're really missing. We're missing defense. We're also missing special teams now, where he is fantastic on special teams and punt coverage, kick coverage. So I think that's where Beckett could really make his presence felt. And, that's where you kind of work up through. You work up through special teams into playing defensively or offensively, whichever side of the ball you're on. So that's where I would expect to see a little bit of Devonte Beckett. They also elevated defensive lineman Bruce Hector. Now, one part of this is that we don't have Deshaun Hand, who has, been waived on an injury settlement, so we don't have that guy. Plus, Michael Brockers is questionable for Sunday. That is the first thing that concerns me, because I'm like, oh gosh, does this mean Brockers isn't playing? They haven't listed him as out, but does that mean he's not playing? We also now have a new addition to your injury report in John Penicini, who has been listed as questionable for this game. Remember, he wasn't on it all week with illness. It seems like there's some kind of bug just kind of flying around, because Hodge was hit with it. We had, was it Benson? I can't remember. There was 2 guys dealing with this. Oh, Sewell. It was Sewell and it was Kadero Hodge. Those guys were dealing with it during the week, and now all of a sudden here's, John Penisini that gets hit with it. So you hate to hear that this is kind of going around. Now he's listed as questionable. It's probably just see how he feels tomorrow. So that could be part of it. Just knowing that if we don't have Penisini, this gives us some defensive line depth. A guy that definitely can play in the interior, especially if we're going to go to some of those 4-3 type of looks defensively. The guy can absolutely play defensive tackle with his size. And remember how good he was back in the preseason. I mean, this would be cool to get him some snaps defensively. I'll just say that. He was really good in the preseason. He was really good in the preseason. So this is awesome. This could be an opportunity for him to get some NFL action this week. Of course, you want Penicini good to go. I mean, I don't expect him to play a huge role for us in this game. Hopefully, this still means Michael Brockers is okay. And of course, not having Trey Flowers means that some of those, packages, maybe on passing downs where you push them in onto the defensive line, it's again depth. And I think Bruce Hector played so well in the preseason that maybe he could get a shot this week. Plus, we don't have Kevin Strong anymore. It's really the main updates that we have for the Lions side. It's a lot of interesting stuff. Not everything is completely cleared up. Tomorrow when we get the inactives, a lot of things will be cleared up to know, okay, is Penisini playing? Is Michael Brockers playing? We want all the guys playing that we possibly can. It's still about the run defense when you think about Minnesota. Now, Minnesota could be missing another piece in their backfield this week, but it does come down to run defense first. That's the first thing you think of. They do a lot of things off of play action, but Hector was able to get some pressure as well in the preseason. Anyways, let's take a look at the Vikings because they got some things going on their side as well. Michael Pierce, who we have discussed all week, he has practiced all week, didn't show up on the injury report because he was on injury reserve. He has been activated off of injury reserve today. Today was the deadline to do that for this game. So Michael Pierce is set to play against the Lions, as well as Dalvin Tomlinson. Okay, both of these guys who they were hoping to possibly get back this week, it's playing out like they're going to get both of these guys this week. Now, Pierce opted out last season. He was a big addition for Minnesota, comes back this year, hasn't played a lot because of injuries, and now here he is. He's back. Now, Michael Pierce, he's only played 120 defensive snaps, but on those 120 defensive snaps, he has 2 sacks, 4 pressures, 9 combined tackles. The thing is, Michael Pierce, the guy is 6 foot, 340 pounds. He's huge. Where do they need help? Run defense. Now, he's been giving them pass rush specifically on early downs, which is why he was so expensive when they signed him, because he can do that, which makes him real tough, because this is a team that they blitz a lot. They bring a lot of blitz. They get a ton of pressure, but they do have been blitzing a lot. So maybe they can back off blitzing a little bit, but where they really need him is run defense, because that has been one of their worst spots of this team. They have been one of the worst defensive teams against the run in the National Football League statistically. So they want him back there because they do like to play a lot of shell coverage in the back end. So they need their front four to win, especially when you're missing some of these top tier defensive ends like an Everson Griffin, like a Daniel Hunter. They're also, like we said, getting a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson, who is another big body, 325 pounds. I mean, look, they got big dudes on this D-line. This is supposed to be a very talented D-line. On paper, it was great. Everybody deals with injuries. They got some stuff going on their D-line, but they're getting 2 of their top tier interior defensive linemen back. So again, what is the battle? Like we said yesterday, it's the Lions interior offensive line that should be getting Big V back, Evan Brown, Jonah Jackson, versus a Michael Pierce, a Dalvin Tomlinson, and the rotation that they're throwing with guys like Sheldon Richardson. That, to me, is going to be the battle to watch. If the Lions win that battle, they got a very legit shot to win this game. If they lose that battle, it's going to be tough to overcome it in this game. Patrick Peterson, I didn't see any updates with him about being activated off the COVID list. So I'm going to assume that he's out for this game. It's a secondary that is known as kind of their weakness. Their cornerbacks, definitely not their strong suit. You know, when you look at individual players, they do have playmakers in the back end. One of them more Patrick Peterson. They have the safeties that are talented. But cornerback, I didn't see an update here for Patrick Peterson. So they could be out one of their top corners in this game. It seems like he's probably not going to play. We'll probably know more tomorrow, but I didn't see him. So I'm just going to assume that he has not been taken off the COVID list, which assumes that he won't be playing in Sunday's game, because I believe that we passed that deadline. Now, they did elevate a safety from their practice squad, Miles from their practice squad, who also played with the other guy that they elevated off of their practice squad, fullback Jake Bargas. I think that's how you say his name. Both of these guys played together back in college. They've elevated those 2 players off their practice squad, getting the safety depth because Cameron Bynum's out, who is one of their depth safeties that's been filling in for Harrison Smith when he was down, so they're getting some depth there. And they get a fullback, which is probably partly because of the running back thing that they're dealing with, so they may want another body back there, because at the running back position / return man position, Kane, whose last name I'm going to surely mess up, so I don't even want to try it. You guys can see the name here. This guy, who is supposed to spell Alexander Madison in this game, we know that Delvin Cook is out. He could also be out Thursday. He all of a sudden has been listed as questionable with this game with an illness. So it seems like there's some illness going around. It's probably the weather change. It's getting colder. I would assume that's what it is, but I don't know for sure. I'm not a doctor, but that's definitely could be some loss at running back depth. They're going to need him, not only because he's a fantastic kick returner, but also because, like I said, running back depth. Their only running back are those 2 guys. Technically, running back position. It's Kane and it's Alexander Madison. So if they don't have him, then it's just Madison. Now they do have this fullback that they brought up who could probably get some snaps and carries as well, but that's definitely something to keep note of, especially in the kick return game, because like I said, he has been really good there. And we don't have Jalen. We don't have Bobby Price, as well as Dalvin Thomas. And they also brought back Kenny Willekes today, the Michigan State Spartan. The guy has 0.5 sacks on the season, 4 pressures. Probably the huge one that I have to definitely touch on is that they have downgraded Eric Kendricks to out for this game. The guy has played so many snaps defensively for the Vikings this season. Again, I don't think he's missed a defensive snap. At least, I think he's played every game. If he hasn't played every game, he's played 100% of snaps in every game that he's played in. But I'm pretty sure he's played in every single game for the Vikings this season. And he is outstanding. He's a playmaker. All right, you talk about a run defense. Yeah, getting some of these defense linemen back is going to be huge. I think they have a fantastic linebacker group, but this is their stud in that group. I mean, this is the guy in that group, if you ask me. I mean, he's the green dot guy. He's the guy that racks up tackles. He got an interception against us last time we played him. He can get after the quarter. He can really do it all. So not having him as big, it means Nick Vigil will probably see a little more. We're probably going to see some Troy Dye in this game. Look, their linebacker group is not bad. It's still very talented. But Eric Kendricks is a legitimate game changer. Now, Anthony Barr, he's looking like he's going to be back for this one. A huge loss for them. So a lot of craziness going on. And you finally wrap it up with their defensive backs coach, Carl Scott, who is out for this game because of COVID protocols. So their assistant defensive backs coach, Roy Anderson, will be taking the game day responsibilities. Plus, they also waived, I should point this out, Eddie Yarbrough. I don't know if I'm saying it completely right. This is a defensive end, because Kenny Willekes is back up the COVID list. So they waive Eddie Yarbrough, who is another defensive end. So you kind of just replace a couple guys here with the young Spartans. So that is the latest news for this game. Look, the Vikings are getting some big dudes back on the D-line, and that's the battle. Interior line versus interior defensive line. Really defensive line versus interior line. Stunt pickups, pass rush pickups, because they blitz a ton, so you got to be on your game there. But of course, then it's the run game where they have struggled. If they win that battle up front, it's going to be really tough offensively. You got to win that battle. You got to pick up some of these blitzes because they're going to throw a lot at you. I think they're 11th top pressure teams in the National Football League. So yes, those two pieces back are huge. The Lions, they got some moving pieces as well on their side. We could get some new faces this week. And until tomorrow, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.